everybody, welcome back to Relish the Ryca Down Under with Wendy and Tom. So today we're going to do Getting My Learners and tell you a little bit about that and where you can go to do that in New South Wales. And once again we'll also be doing a little bit of scenic travelling and showing a little bit of the countryside yet again. So come along and enjoy the ride. Thank you. Well, here we go everyone. As I said, we're going to talk about me getting my learners. But firstly, we're on a road called the Aurora Way. It's a windy day today. Hoping this will be good filming. This is the Aurora Way. It follows more or less follows the railway line between Grafton and Coffs Harbour, and it is a back way to Coffs Harbour. Once again, quite dry weather. Certainly not getting any rain, so things aren't getting any better. There are lots of fires happening around at the moment. And shortly we're coming into a little village called Glenray. But today on the ride, as well as looking at the scenery, we are going to talk about getting your learners. Now, I can only speak for New South Wales. I know a little bit about Queensland from many years ago, and we all know about the 2 Wheel experience, but Queensland I'd say would have changed. So way back they did have riding schools in Queensland, but I don't think it was compulsory to go to them. So I won't talk about Queensland any further. Now, New South Wales, yes, if you are close to a riding school. Now, when I say close, I don't know the cut-off in distance. In Grafton, we are about 1 hour from Coffs Harbour, and I believe Lismore does have a riding school, but I don't know whether it's still operational after the flooding. It could be back up and running. It may never have stopped running. I'm not sure. I believe it is a wheel skills. But in my case, I've had to go to Coffs Harbour. Now, if you live remote New South Wales, I don't think you do have to go to a riding school, and I say this because when we were looking for the Ryca, we had the need to ring around, and because we were prepared to travel. And I remember talking to a lady at a dealership in, I can't remember the exact place, but it was remote southwest New South Wales. And she was under the impression that you could just buy the Ryca, go straight to probably the cop shop and get your learners and off you go. She didn't know any different, and that is because she's remote, and that's what they did in that town. So you can do that, I guess, if you're remote, but in my case, in the case of anywhere that's, especially Sydney, you must go through a riding school. It's compulsory. Now, it was wheel skills in my case. Now, unfortunately, wheel skills is not set up in Coffs Harbour to take a Ryca for learners, so I had to once again tackle a 2-wheeler. Newcastle, on the other hand, you can go and look. I can't speak for other places. It's like the name of the riding school, which in my case is Wheel Skills. There are other riding schools. I know of one called Heart. There may be many, many others, I'm not sure, as long as they're approved. So we're just talking about what I know and what I went through. Now, Wheel Skills Newcastle, you must have your Riker and you must go on a waiting list. And that means that when they have enough people sign up, they'll call you and give you the day and the time. In my case, too far, and I did not want to go on a waiting list. I wanted to book in. Now, we had bought the Riker, and for me that was probably the best thing to do before getting the L's. I could have gone and got my L's and then gone out looking for a Riker, but it was a case of you could keep putting it off. I had been overseas, I had come back, I was booked in with Wheel Skills. It was a almost 3 month wait. I was unwell, but I said no, I am not waiting anymore. I have a Riker waiting to be ridden, and so I forced myself to get out of bed and do that course over 2 mornings, over a Saturday and a Sunday morning. So in my case it was best to have the Riker, other words you could keep putting it off. Now, Wheel Skills is a 1-800 number. You cannot speak to the actual school at the town directly. You must go through 1-800. Now, you can book on the internet. You must pay in advance. It was $100 and something from memory. And in my case, I wanted an automatic step through. And they have one set aside for people that want automatic only. If you do not show up, because you can't ring to say that you can't make it, you can't ring the place direct. And if it's a weekend, I don't think you can really speak to anyone. But they're very strict with their ruling. I do know that if you, I think, walk in, look, it could be just 5 minutes late, you are asked to leave the premises. It isn't, apparently it's a government ruling or something. I remember being told you are not to be late at all. You will not be allowed to enter the course if you are late. We're in a little place called Glenray at the moment. It's a little village. Looks like we're pulling over. That's Tom up ahead. I'm just going to film this lovely Golden Dog. It's called the Golden Dog Hotel. And if you're ever travelling through Glenray, I would recommend stopping for lunch or dinner. But we've had lunch here a few times and very, very nice. Get a burger. But there's the lovely big Golden Dog. These gnarly teeth. Mountains in the background. Tom's just stopped to get peanut butter because we're bringing our own lunch today, lovely sourdough bread, and he was meant to bring the peanut butter and he forgot it, so he's just calling in at the general store to get the peanut butter. We're self-funded retirees, so we bring lunch where we can instead of stopping and spending a fortune on it, especially with the price of things these days. But now I have to remember where I was up to with wheel skills. So yes, you are not to arrive late. 3.5 hour course over 2 days, and that is sitting in a little like a classroom, learning some things, and then of course you go into an area on the bikes. Now I was with 4 other men, and they were quite young, except for one. This one particular man, comes Tom. This one particular man was in his 50s, and for some reason or other he just kept going. I think it had been his 5th time to wheel skills. You don't want to do that. Well, I don't want to do that. But anyway, they were all on, the big bikes with gears, and here's me. He's got the little scooter all set up for me. So I'm with all the men. Honestly, if I was in my 20s, I probably would have been highly embarrassed. But I don't care. I just didn't care, and they probably had a bit of a giggle at me because at one stage there I'm going around and round, and I couldn't seem to. The two-wheel experience came back to me. As I'm turning around, I'm going around in circles. I'm going extremely wide all the time. But I learnt why, and that was good. The instructor was very informative. One thing he did say was, always ride like someone's trying to kill you. Now, that's a bit scary and sounds a bit horrible, but I think it was the best advice I've been given. Always ride like someone's out to kill you. So you do become very aware. You are checking your mirrors constantly. You are scanning ahead constantly. One of the best pieces of advice you can give a learner without scaring them too much. So basically that's all I can really tell you. My advice also is, if you are really determined, go ahead and do it, and don't be put off. Try not to be scared. And I say that because just before we got the Ryker, I was speaking to a man in Grafton who was selling his wife's Ryker because she wouldn't go through with the provisional process. She had managed to get her L's, but that must have been a challenge for her. But she could keep getting them year in, year out. And if you want to do that, fine. If you want to, I guess if you want to do that. But I don't want to be spending the rest of my riding time with an L plate on the back. In some cases, out on highways, I'd like to be doing the 100 Ks and not the 90. So I think if you're determined, just knuckle down and go ahead with it. Some women in my age group, I have spoken, another lady did say I couldn't go through the process. And look, I didn't like it. I didn't want to go through it. It was my biggest fear going to a riding school with men. I didn't get one other woman in there. But I did it. If you want something bad enough, you'll do it. And next for me is the provisional. Now, I've only been riding this Ryker. I can't ride Tom's two-wheeler. It's a geared one, and I don't like two-wheelers. I don't want to be out on them. Now, with the provisionals, it's a full-day course, I believe. And you do have to go out and about, and you probably follow someone. And I don't live in Coffs Harbour. I sort of know it because we go there a bit, but I know you'd rather be going for your test in your own hometown. But I'm really going out on a limb. I'm actually going to try and get my provisionals in Newcastle and take my Ryker down there. I've already phoned and had a good talk to Wheel Skills. Told them that I truly do not want to get my provisionals on a two-wheeler because I'm riding a three-wheeler on my L's. I don't have access to an automatic scooter and I don't want to ride one. I'm sure if push comes to shove, and I have to, I will, but I don't want to. I want to be comfortable. Anyway, I'm booked in, have been now for a couple of months, and I do have until next May. At my age though, I can now go for my provisionals if I want, being over 25. I think that's the rule. But I can also take them through for the full year, which will take me till next May. So I'm hoping that between now and next May, I get a phone call from Wheel Skills saying, yep, you're booked into Newcastle, and then Tom and I'll ride down there. I'm building confidence every day. So Tom and I will ride down there, and hopefully I'll come back with provisionals. I guess I'll have to pass a written test as well. I'm not sure. But Wheel Skills, when you're there, they will also, they don't mess about. They know straight away whether yes, you can do this, or no, you can't. He said that, he's even had some young men in there and they've put their bike straight into a wall. So fortunately I didn't do that. And they've done it a couple of times, and he said, look, you're not going to be able to ride. So I was ever so thankful that I come away with my competency certificate. I then went and I booked in and sat a test at Services New South Wales, and it does cost, so you don't want to fail. I think you can only get one wrong. There's two sections. I think you can get one wrong on one section and two wrong on another. It's actually failed me now, but you can bring the test up anytime at home, on the computer, on your phone, whatever, through Services New South Wales, and do that test 1,000 times over before you go in. So really, it's quite easy. And the questions, a lot of are common sense. Some of them seem a bit silly, actually, some of them, and they're multiple choice. So it's not the written test that I was worried about, it was going, sitting on a two-wheeler. But anyway, that's it for getting your learners. Just make inquiries as to where you live, and all is good. But women of my age group, if you want to do it, just go ahead and do it. Really, you won't regret it. And thank you once again for listening. And if you like what you hear, please subscribe, comment, like, all of those things. So basically now we're just going to do some sightseeing. We're heading to a little place right now called Nana Glen. It's a funny name. Probably, I wonder if it comes from, there's the sign, Nana Glen. They grow bananas down here, all around Coffs Harbour. This is banana growing country. We are turning off a little bit early though. We're not going through it at the moment. We're turning off and going over to Moonee Beach, which is this side of Coffs Harbour, off the highway, off the main highway. I'm not fully comfortable travelling a long distance on the main highways yet, because you know you've got trucks and fast cars. I can only do 90, and I'm not fully comfortable at this stage with trucks up my backside and cars all around me. I must admit, most drivers are quite good when they see the L plate. They have an understanding of what you're going through. But when I get my P plates and I can maintain 100 speed, I'll probably be more comfortable. I think that's the railway down there. Yes, it's going across there. It's a little bit overcast and a little bit windy. It's not perfect riding weather. Hopefully, if it stays like this, we'll be fine. Look at that beautiful down there, the beautiful area. Horses. Just going back to getting your L plates, you have to remember that they're professionals that are teaching you. They're there to help you. You know, they were where you were once. Well, not me, or probably a hell of a lot better, but they're there to help. They're not going to laugh at you. They're there to lots of good information, and don't feel intimidated by them. They take their job very, very seriously, and they're very honest. So be comfortable with them. And don't worry about anyone else that's around you and what they are doing. Don't worry that, oh, look at them, they can do this no problem and they can do that no problem and all the rest of it. No, not all of them can. Not everyone that goes there is going to be better than you. See, I had that attitude, they're all better than me, and they are, but don't worry about that. Just focus on yourself. Focus on concentrating and listening. These nets here, this is all blueberries. Lots of blueberries around here. Bananas and blueberry area this is. Blueberries are in season at the moment.
Okay, we're going to actually cut the video here and go into a part 2, so it's not too long and boring for anyone, and you can go to part 2 at your leisure. Thank you for watching.